blurred white lines screaming down the lane. I saw the one-way sign, then the flashing light that followed right behind, straight into a dead-end street. So there was I, waiting for the officer to write the fine, dotting every I and crossing every T. I guess he had it in for me. And I'm so sorry, I've gone and done it again. Same old story, I've gone and done it again. When will it end? Blurred white lines screaming down the lane. I saw the one-way sign, then the flashing light that followed right behind, straight into a dead-end street. And I'm so sorry, I've gone and done it again. Same old story, I've gone and done it again. When will it end?
Good evening, my dear friends. Thank you for joining me tonight. It's a bit earlier in the normal. Lynn and I are having a bit of a break as from tomorrow, just for a couple of weeks. So we wouldn't have been around to do it the first Saturday of the month. So we thought we'd do it today. Who's just asked me a question? Dennis, is Blurred White Lines, is that a ukulele or a small guitar? It's a ukulele. It's this one. And I play it upside down. I love the ukulele. I learned to play on one of those when I was small. I'm still small now, if you know what I mean, but I actually learned to play the ukulele. Right, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I think this is the 16th live stream. I don't know. I think it's the 15th or the 16th. So for those people who are new to my channel, another couple of thousand this month. So welcome. It's good to see you all. These live streams are about they're all about you, really, because the idea is that all the tutorials that I put up during the month, Usually get about 6 to 8 done, depending on what's going on. Then it's your opportunity to speak to me directly, you know, as some of you are doing now, to and ask me what, you know, if there are any bits you don't understand, anything you can't do, anything you'd like to do, you know, anything that you think I might you know, might be a good idea for me to teach you, you know, then I'm happy to. This is your opportunity right now to get in touch and tell me about all that sort of stuff. You know, any questions about the guitars, doesn't matter what it is, you know, just have a bit of fun. Right, so, as I say, these live streams are about you. It's your chance to ask me whatever you like. As I say, any bits you can't get right, and I'll help you to fix them. In a minute, we'll talk about what I've put up last month. Before I do that, if you'd be so kind to hit that like button, because it helps circulate this little channel of mine. And remember to if you haven't subscribed, just subscribe, because it doesn't mean you pay for anything. For you oldies out there, you know, subscribe doesn't mean paying. It just means that it tells you when I put a video up. And if you don't want to be part of that little group, you just press the button and I go away again, hat and all. So if you want to do that, if you want to donate to the Tea and Coffee Fennah Tea and Coffee Fund, there's a thanks button at the bottom, and that keeps me going. I'd also like to thank all my friends from who join me on my Patreon platform. There is a small charge on that, but you get all the behind the scenes stuff as well as everything else. So it helps keep all my free stuff going, because it's getting busy now, and I need time to put them all together. So thank you to everybody that's joined me on Patreon. For those people, the last video I did last week, we were in the recording studio finishing off an album, so I'm sort of taking you on the journey of how that album was made. You know, so if you're interested in recording, how we record guitars, bass, drums, all that sort of stuff, and watch just putting tracks together from nothing to the finished thing, then Patreon, you might be interested in having a look at that. Check out the link. There's a link somewhere around, you know, on the site, on the Fennah Rob site. You can do that. Now, while I'm blabbing away here, I'm doing this so you can be thinking of what questions to ask me. So write them all down now. Okay, get them all down. Write them down. Anyone that puts a super chat question where they put a little donation in, they're highlighted, and I answer those first because I can see them. So have you got any requests? I'll do them if I know them. Put me to the test, why don't you? Okay, see if I know them. Test me. Let's have some fun. Say, you know, have that sort of, I wonder if he knows this one type of thing. Let's see what we know, shall we? It's all live. Let's have a laugh. You know, not some obscure American tune, though. You know, I'll give it my best shot, but, you know, I'm over here in the UK, don't you know? So try and think of my era. Right, I've also been working on an album with me and my brother Al. We're known as Alternative Radio. It's the name of our band, and we brought out an album. We did an album for Sam. It was the soundtrack to his book Amygdala, and I'm pleased to say that it went into the top 50, the iTunes chart, straight in the top 50 in America, in the US, which is the first for a bloody soundtrack to a book. It's never been done before, so I think we're the first to get into the chart. You know, we were up there with all these top you know, soundtrack albums, Grease and all that, and ours was a book, so that was good, really. So I don't know what position it is now, but it's in there. It's coming out on vinyl at the end of the year. As I say, I've just finished my own album as well, so Patreon, if you want to see how that goes on, you can how we get on with that, you can have a look at that. Right, where are we? We'll have a look at some questions in a minute. How about is the pick thickness? I'm going to get to all these questions in a sec. I need a lot more. I'll keep talking till you get a few more in. Let's have a look at what we put up last month, or this last month. Let me just have a quick swig. Right. What did we do? Well, we did. Hang on, where's my stuff? I've just had it. Oh, it's here. Lynn's been here, moving things. We did. Well, I think I did a barcode thing, didn't I? A lot of you people out there, you struggle with your barcodes, and you can't avoid them, unfortunately. If you don't learn how to play them, I hated them and all. We all hate barcodes, you know. And I did you know, I remember my dad, because my dad taught me how to play, you know, when I was a kid. I remember him teaching me how to play F, you know, or trying to teach me how to play F, and I was whimpering like a. I can't say what I was thinking then, because I'd probably get slated, you know. But you know what I mean. You've got to watch what you say these days, haven't you? You know, a big girl's blouse. That's what I was going to say. Sod it, you know. I was whimpering like a big girl's blouse. All right, so there we are. Because I couldn't play F. And a lot of you people can't play F. And the reason you can't do it is it's nothing to do with strength. Because you watch, how many times have we seen these little 10-year-old kids playing all this flashy stuff, especially these young Chinese kids, you know, and there's nothing of them, and yet they're playing all these bar chords, and, you know, there's not a pick on them, you know, and yet they're doing it. It's technique. Remember what you do. You don't use this part of your finger. I'll quickly go over some of these things. You don't use this part of your finger. Looks like you do when you're seeing it on a screen like this. You use the side of your finger, you know, the outer part, and you roll it round like that. That's it. And you bring your elbow in, and you push down here and you pull down there, so you get some, you know, and that's why people have a sore neck. So bar chords, have a look at that one if you've not checked it out. I also go into more detail in one of the tutorials that I did. I did 8 master classes for those people who are new to my stuff. Have a look at those, because it will show you in more detail about bar chords and the fact that you can, you know, you can play with just a couple of shapes, about 120 chords, you know. You know, people now say, well, what are you talking about? Well, let's have a quick look at that, shall we? I'll show you how to do that while we're, you know, while you're putting your questions together. For example, this chord that we know as F, it's based on the E shape, is it not? E major. Okay, F. And you'll notice it's just the E shape moved up, you know. So if we know what the notes are along this bass string, if we know that's E for E major, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, and so on, then every time we move that shape, we get a new chord. So if it was at the 3rd fret, it would be G, E, F, F sharp, G. Sorry, Lynn's just wandered in. Somebody said what?
It was a bit fuzzy, but I don't think it's you. I think it might be them.
It might be you.
Shall I?
What?
Do the lens? Could it be?
No. Does it look fun? Out there, folks, tell me if you can. Somebody took big girl's blouse. You've just offended half the country. I know, I don't care. I'm of an age now, I don't give a shit. You know, and it's past 9 o'clock. I know. You know, it's not. If I wanted to be offensive, people who know me, you know, they'll know that's nothing. That's mild. That is. You know. What else have we got? Sorry, I'm still getting off of this here.
Not fuzzy in the United States.
It's not.
Well, that's what jelly sticks.
Yeah. No, it must be. Yeah. Who sent it? Who said? Who asked?
Somebody up here.
Somebody. Whoever thought.
Mark Taylor.
Mark Taylor. Mark. Now listen, mate. You sure you haven't had a few drinks?
Not fuzzy. It's fine.
Because apparently it's all right down this end. So put the bottle down. No, it's all right. Just check your thing.
Oh, glare seems to have dissolved. That's Steve Ward. Not fuzzy for me.
What glare? Oh, must be Lynn. Maybe it's me. I don't know. I don't know. Not fuzzy for me. Good. Okay. So I'm all we're worried about now is whether it's fuzzy, and I forgot. I've completely lost the thread. Oh, big girl's blouse. That's where we were. You know. What? All right. So anyway, bar chords. Bar chords. We'll get to all the other stuff in a minute. Len, just keep an eye on me. Don't let me forget to answer some of these questions, will you? When I'm blabbing on about about these bar. If you know how to play F, for example, if you take off your 2nd finger, it becomes F minor. Okay. If you take off your 4th finger, it becomes F 7th. If you take off your 3rd and your 2nd and 4th finger, it becomes F minor 7th. Okay. And if you put one in between these two here, it becomes F major 7th. Now, if you know what they are at that position and you do them here, you've got you've got 5 chords there. You've got another 5 here. You've got 5 there. 5 12s, 12 frets is 60. All right. So say for example, you wanted to play. I said we're going to do a song and it's got G sharp minor 7th. Some of you might think, oh Christ, I don't know what that is. Well, G is there at the 3rd fret. G sharp, because sharp means higher. That's all you've got to remember. G sharp minor 7th. G sharp minor, G sharp 7th, G sharp major 7th. You can play it like that if you want, but my fingers are thick enough now. I can just do that. And similarly with the other shape that's based on the A, let's assume we're going to play an A major there. I always use these 3 fingers. If I wanted to turn that shape into a C, A sharp, B, C, okay? If I wanted C minor, I'll make that into a minor shape. If I wanted C 7th, I'll make it into the 7th shape. C minor 7th, C major 7th. So if I know those 5 little differences in shape here, I can just move them around. If I was here, I would be D major 7th, D minor, and so on. All right. So just by knowing where they are in one position, and that's another 60. So you've got 120 chords. Have a look out for that. Okay, I did that one. How important? This is from Tom. Tom's asking how important the thickness of a pleck is. It is important, Tom. Very, very important. When you get a guitar, the first thing your mates do is or at Christmas, you get a box of plecks. They're all different colours, and they're about, they're like, you could open an oyster with some of them. Okay, so this is the thing. You don't want a pleck that's that thick. You can open an oyster with it. All right. What you want is to, is that reflected in my glasses? You want one that, or you don't want one that's too thin, so it's like a bus ticket. You want something. I use 0.73, 0.73. They're the ones I use. See one of these here? You see that? Can you see? Watch out for the glare. Put you something. Can you see that? 0.73. Little cheapy grey Dunlop ones. These are the best. All right. They're the ones I use. I'm going to move slightly. No, I won't. Everything's asked about it. I can't, and there's chairs squeaking. So, yeah, pleck thickness is really important. And when you're using the pleck, again, I did a lesson on the holding pick. You don't hold it too tight. If you hold it too tight, it acts like a barb and sticks in the strings like this. You have to have some flexibility. Let it flit. There's a good word. Flit over the strings. If you hold it too tight, it's horrible. All right. And how can you tell? Well, if I was to do this on your arm, it shouldn't bother you. But if you were doing it incorrectly and too hard, it would leave a big mark. You know that. So, if it doesn't hurt, that's right. Okay. And what about, if the pleck starts moving around in my fingers? Well, they do. There's nothing you can do about that. They're always rolling about doing this. The best thing you can do is just moisten your fingertips, as if you were turning the pages of a book. And, that'll help you to an extent. But it's just the nature of the beast, just the way it works. Right, let's have a look at what we got. Yeah, the monitor reflects in your specs, otherwise fine. Yeah, I know, it's a pain. I don't know how we can stop that. Let me just see if I can move it a bit. I don't know whether I can. Is that any better? Is that better? Oh shit, what have I done? Len, help me. I think I've done something. Can you still see me? The fuzziness comes and goes. I must be the, I don't know. Mark's just said, okay, I had 2 glasses of wine. Maybe it's me. It's still a bit blurry though. I wonder what that is. Lynn, if you can hear me, can you come upstairs? Yeah, I've pressed a button here and I've vanished. Oh no, I'm back again. I'm like Gary. I can't mention. I was going to say I'm like Gary Glitter. I'm the but No. I can't even mention his name anymore, can you? No. I don't know. Everything you say now is. Yeah,
but where's the questions?
I don't know. They've gone.
Just go.
Hold on.
Just try that.
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh shit.
Yeah, hold on. Oh, wait, why are you keeping pressing buttons?
I don't know.
Hold on.
The producer's here.
Duplicate stream key. Something.
I don't know. Fuck knows.
Switch to.
I don't even know if it's working. Shall I play a tune?
Well, it was working.
What about this down here? I don't know where it's gone. Stay. All me things have gone. All me chats. Is it? Can you see it?
I can see you.
Lynn can see me. All this. Yes, as you can tell, folks, I'm not a very technical person. I don't know where all the questions have gone
No,
now.
no, that's what I'm trying to find out.
That's a bit of a.
No, this is error, so hold on.
So, right, I'll play you something while Lynn's fiddling. What should we play? I know what to do. I'll play another tune. You stay there. Imagine not bang your head. Where's my other guitar? Should we play something? What should we play? I'll give you a bit of incidental music while Lynn's trying to get this thing to work again. We're just trying to fiddle with these things.
I don't know what. Sorry, but I don't know what that means. Duplicate stream.
No, I don't know what it means. I don't care. Don't worry about it. Right, we did. As far as we did song-wise, we played
I'll bring it up to you.
Streets of London. We did one of those, didn't we? Remember that one? Have you seen the old man in the closed down market? We did that one. That was good. That one did all right. I thought it would actually get more views than it did, that one. Because I had loads of people, a lot of you people out there were saying, oh, can you do Ralph McTell? I did it. And I didn't get that many views on it, which is weird. Maybe because you saw that picking at the beginning and panicked a little bit. Which is not hard, it's quite easy. And when, of course, when you get into the main body of the song, you can just keep the pick. You know, you can just use a nice generic pick, sort of. So anyway, we did Streets of London, which, you know, it's a beautiful song. If you've not had a look at it, go and have a look. Then I did an unusual one. I'm not going to do it now because I've got to retune one of the guitars. I did Turn It On Again by Genesis, and I retuned one of the strings on the guitar in order that we could play both guitars at the same time, if you know what I mean, both guitar parts at the same time, which worked well. And that one did okay, not too bad. So that was Turn It On Again by Genesis. If you're not seeing it, go and have a little look at that one. Then I did, what key did we do? I did a lovely song, beautiful song by a fellow called Gordon Lightfoot. Remember him? It was If You Could Read My Mind. I've got to try and remember how to play it. I've got my notes here, so I'm going to actually look at what I did. If you could read my mind, love, what a dee-da-dee-da-da. I did that one. That was a great song. I love that one. If You Could Read My Mind, we did that one. What else did we do? Oh, and then I had fun with this. I did. I'm in one of these. You know these. One of my favourite bands ever is T-Rex. I love T-Rex. And Mark Bolan, he's a great songwriter. He wasn't the best guitarist in the world by a long shot, but he was very distinctive. Whenever he played, you knew it was Mark Bolan. Anyway, whenever I try and put something together for you out there, I always try to play it or arrange it as near to the record as possible. So sometimes that will entail me, playing a different inversion of a chord or whatever. Anyway, I always, whenever I do them, I always circulate them, and they go to all the sites, and I put them on the T-Rex site, And of course, you've got a couple of people on there saying, Tony Visconti and Mark and whatever. He doesn't play an A; he plays an A minor. This is on the song "Get It On." So I'm going to play for you, right, what they say it is, and I want you to tell me if you think it sounds any good. All right? So. So that's it's called "Get It On." It's called "Bang a Gong" in America. Okay. Well, you're dirty and sweet, clad in black. Don't look back, and I love you. You're dirty and sweet, oh yeah. It's a great song. Well, you're slim and you're weak. You got the teeth of the hydra upon you. You're dirty, sweet, and you're my girl. Get it on, bang a gong, get it on. Now there's the chorus. Get it on, bang a gong, get it on. Now, to my ears, it goes from a G, get it on, which you could play with a power chord if you want. There's no point. But instead of playing an A major, some of these T-Rex people say, Mark Bolan, it should be an A minor, which to me sounds crap. Oh, I'll show you what I mean. Get it on, bang it on, get it on. Does that sound right to you? Get it on, bang it on, get it on. Now, if that's the right way to do it, right, folks, I'm going to do it the wrong way because to me it sounds crap. All right, get it on, bang it on, get it on. He does play a lot of sevenths as well. And of course, when you're playing it with one guitar and you haven't got the sort of dubs, then you sort of embellish it in your own way in order to get it to sound good. So I did that one. So that was fun because I was interested to see some of the comments from my T-Rex friends, and they are friends. We all have a laugh about it. But come on, lads, it's not an A minor. Play it. It doesn't. Hang on, Lynn's back again. The boys are back in town. Hiya, John. Do you plan to visit the States in the future? I plan to visit the States at some point. Are the questions coming up down there?
Yeah.
Oh, are they? Why can't I see them? I know I hit the wrong button. I'm thick. It's got to be something simple, Lynn.
Well, I don't want to perish the phone.
Well, why don't you bring your phone up here and sit there, and then you can just tell me what they are. I can look at them on there, can't I?
Yeah.
We could do that. So John's saying, do you plan to visit the States in the future? I want to do that Route 66 thing. I was going to, with one of my sons, fancy doing that. Don't know how safe it is. Is it safe? Because we're from, although it's probably safer in America than it is in Britain now. So, can you do Dire Straits, Romeo and Juliet? I can. In fact, I've done a tutorial on that. It was a successful tutorial. Unfortunately, I'd have to retune a guitar. It's an open, I think it's an open G tuning. I can't remember now. So have a look for it, Romeo and Juliet. I've done a tutorial with all the paperwork and everything, the whole song. So I've done it, but as I say, I'm sorry I can't do it for you now because as I said, it would take me a while to retune the guitars. How do I learn lead guitar? I can play chords a bit, but I don't know what I should learn next. Right, well, if you want to learn lead guitar, one of my most popular videos I put up about 6 weeks ago, it's had about 250,000 views. in such a short time. Probably the fastest one that I've done that's moved. It was one, Rosemary, called The Only Scale You Really Need to Know. And what it was it's a scale called the Aeolian scale. It's like the pentatonic scale, but with a couple more notes added. I think I went over this last time, but I'll just quickly go over it again. Let's assume you're playing a song in A minor, all right? So the pentatonic, basically starting here. Okay. The Aeolian scale is that, but with a few more notes, gives it a bit more class. And that fits with any chords that are related to A minor. So you can just play, permutations of those notes, and you'll have a solo. What order you put them in will determine how good the solo is. That's up to the creator of the solo, i.e. you. Now, if I wanted to play something in A major, you may say, well, that's all right for minor chords. What about major? Well, think of it like this. There's your root note for your A minor, okay, there. The furthest note along on the bass string is this one here, whether it's the Aeolian or the pentatonic. That note is a C. So what I've just played is the minor scale of A minor, but it's also the major scale of C. Okay, so it has a dual purpose. So if you were playing so with that in mind, and say I was playing in A minor, but I wanted to play another song in A major, I'd think, oh, how am I going to do that? I can't do the minors. Well, think of it like this. Think of this first finger as your minor finger, okay? And think of your little finger as your major finger, all right? So if you're going to play in a major key, put this little finger on whatever key you're doing it in. Say we were going to do it in A major. I'll take this finger and I'll put it there, okay? On the 5th fret with the A note. Oh, hit the wrong note then. Okay, so major. Minor. Alright, and that's all you really need to know. And you can, and by knowing that, now clearly there's lots of other scales as well that you can learn, but if you want to get by with just one, and don't forget you can put it's the order you put the notes in. I'm just using that scale, and that's all I ever use really, so learn that one, the Aeolian. Look at my video for it. It's called The Only Scale You Really Need to Know. I did it about 5-6 weeks ago. Look at that, Rosemary, and that will well, as I say, 250,000 people have up 200 whatever it is. I've looked at it up to now, so it's a popular one because it's a revelation to a lot of people. They think, hang on, I can use the same pattern of notes, in different positions and play all these different things. Well, yeah. So, Lynn, have we got any more?
Yes.
Lynn's scribbling away, beaveringly. All right, let's have a look. What have we got?
Okay.
Have we got any sarcastic ones?
No.
Yeah, nothing weird.
Right.
Got any T-Rex fans? I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to do this. What have we got?
Well, there's a few there.
I live in a paper world.
Well,
You know.
you're on the screen, haven't you?
Just bolts it up, haven't I?
Yeah.
What's that thing with a red dot on it?
Please don't press any more buttons.
No.
For God's sake.
Profile.
It's to do with that error there.
Yeah, I know.
Screen.
I blame you, Lynn. If you'd have been here, Lloyd, all right, now what have we got? I'd love to see you do a lesson on Donovan tune, Catch the Wind, with your great tabs. Have I done that one? I think I might have. Yeah, let's have a look. Catch the Wind. It is a great song, and I have done a lesson on. I don't know whether it was Catch the Wind. I think it was to do with. If you look back, you'll see Dylan, Donovan, and Lennon style. And what I did, if you look, well, let's go over this now. It's a good one. When you're playing the chord C, like this, what you do in the folk circles, you put your little finger down here, okay, on the first string, you know, at the 3rd fret. I'm using the cap at the 4th fret. And the reason they do that is if you want to go to an F now, you can just take these 2 fingers here and move them down. Excuse me. Now clearly you can't hit the 5 and the 6, but in folky stuff you don't need to. Now how do you avoid hitting the 5 and 6 though if you sort of see people thrashing away? Well, this is what you do. This finger here that's on the 4th string, I'm just letting it sit above the 4th string. Thus, that's a good word, muting the 5th string. And then I'm letting my thumb just hang over the top of the neck to kill the bass string. So we've got C, we've got F, and then G. We just take the same 2 fingers here, leave a little finger where it is, bring it right the way to the bass. And there's our G. C, F, G. And we've got instant folk. In the chilly hours and minutes of uncertainty, I long to be in the warm hold of your love and mine. I've got the hat for it. To feel you all around me and to take my hand along the sand. But I may as well try and catch the wind. Should we do the solo? Rain has hung the leaves with tears, but I want you near and to kill my fears, drill me to leave all my blues behind. For standing in your heart is where I long to be and want to be. But I may as well try and catch the wind. But I may as well try and catch the wind. Which is beautiful, beautiful song. So what else have we got? I'd like to thank Jimmy M for our $10 thing to the tea fund, to the tea and coffee fund, and also let's not forget the Rennie's fund, the heartburn fund. It's important.
That's the question.
All right, let's have a look then. Wait, here's a chat. April comes, she will. Who did that? That isn't a question. That's a sentence. April comes, she will. Jimmy, I don't know the song.
Here's a challenge. ... April comes.
Well, first of all, who did it? Because I don't know. But if you remind me, Jim, because you've been a generous chap and you've contributed to the tea and coffee fund, I'll see if I can get it together for next time we do it. Can you make a note of that for us? We got. But is it how's that Balby or Barbie? Balby.
29.
Balby 29. Thanks, Balby. I hope I'm pronouncing that well. Jesus Christ. Please, can you explain in your super duper way the rhythm pattern for Roy Orbison's In Dreams? Christ, why are you picking songs I don't really in dream? Which one's In Dreams? Yeah, I need to. Well, hold on.
Well, I can't go on.
No, we are. I'll do it. Watch. I'm not going to. This is what I'll have to do. This is what I do all the time. So bear with me. I'm going to go onto my phone here. Go onto YouTube. What is it? In Dreams. I'm going to do this. Anyone that buys me a cup of tea deserves for me to spend the time to do it. So let me just have a look at what it is. It's an advert, that, for Christ's sake. Jesus. I'm dancing here. Yeah, all right, go. Fucking hell.
Candy-colored clown they call the Sandman tiptoes to my room every night. Just a twinkle stardust
I like Will.
go to sleep.
See the way I got that?
Everything is alright. I close my eyes.
Right. I close my eyes. Okay, so the basic rhythm for that. This is for, is it Balby?
Balby 29.
Balby 29. Balby. Right, so imagine you could get away with doing this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But what he's doing and what a lot of those players did in those, you know, the Everleys and all that. On the second down, they did like a 1 and they did like a little down and up. They cut the half beat in half. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and do dagga do. So down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, dum digga digga. I close my I don't know whether I'm doing it. So that's how the strum. Dum da da dum ba dum ba dum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right. So I hope that is helpful. We've got Joseph. Cheers, Joe. Joseph. White Rabbit. Now White Rabbit is by. I'm going to do White Rabbit. I can't do it now, but I'm going to do it because it's such a weird song. Who was White Rabbit by?
Rolling Stones?
No,
What was
no,
that? Oh, that was Horses.
it was the female singer. What was it? The great band. Not something Starship. What was it? Oh please, God, my memory's going. And you're not helping, Lynn. Jefferson Airplane. That was it. It was a great song. Again, I'll learn it. I want to do that one. I think that's a great one. I've suggested my son do that one with his animation because I think that'd be a great one. Anything weird, I like. I like all that stuff. I can see clearly now. Do you mean the? Do you mean that? I can see clearly now. What was that joke? Somebody said to me there was a big girl that used to be sitting in front of a fella in his office, and she went out to go and get a cup of tea, and when she went, he started singing, I can see clearly now, the rain has gone. I'm going to get into more trouble here.
Grace Slick.
What is?
The woman you were trying to think of. Grace
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Is that on the White? I've moved on from White Rabbits.
No,
I'm on I can see clearly. Oh, thank you. Thought that was
You're
you.
ahead of
Oh,
the
sorry. Yeah. So I can see clearly. Who did that one? I can see clearly now the rain has gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. What's the words? Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, well, it's gonna be a bright sunshiny day. Oh, it's gonna be a bright sunshiny day. We try that again. I can see clearly now the rain has gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright sunshiny day. It's great reggae. How do you do reggae without, watch this. See that I'm holding the chord, a bar chord. You always got to use bar chords for this. So say I'm holding the bar chord like that. I'm not pressing anything in yet. and I'm playing a simplified one. I'm not bothering with this. I'm just doing that, but I'm muting the bass string. So when I want to hear the chord, I'll press it in. I can see, or I could do it like a, like Buffalo Soldier. Press, 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 press. Or you could do ska. Who was that fella? Bad Manners. Remember him? Buster Bloodvessel. He was great, he did some great stuff.
You should do stand-up comedy.
Who?
Mark.
No, I'm no good at that.
No.
Jesus Christ. Get on you. What else have we got? Oh, we got a nice list here. Oh, God, I wish I'd pressed the button. Why did you let me press that bloody button?
Wasn't it?
I'm like Dougal. Have you ever seen Father Ted? When he's on that plane and he says, whatever you do, don't press that button. He's like this going. Well, that's what I did. Where are we now? Okay, so let's have a look. What other questions have we got here? Can we have Waterloo Sunset? I've done that one. Long as I gaze up once, I think. I will do it. I'll have to go over the chords. Who sent that? What else have we got? What's that one? I can't read.
Ripple.
Oh, great. Yeah, well, I'll have a look at that one. I'll make a note of that one. Grateful Dead.
Didn't understand.
Can you do War of the Worlds again? Which one do you mean? I did. Oh, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking of. I played. It wasn't War of the Worlds I was playing. You were thinking because he uses the same chord in the original. I actually did a version of this, the proper way of doing War of the World, and hardly anybody watched it. But what you're thinking of is this. Who sent that question?
Gaz Clint.
Gaz. Is it Gaz?
Gaz Clint.
Gaz. Yeah. You're thinking of. You're thinking of that chord. So instead of playing your traditional D minor chord, I've tuned this down, by the way. I'm going to talk about 12 strings in a minute because one of my good friends has just bought one. Mike just bought a beautiful Taylor apparently, and he rang me up, or he messaged me asking about this Taylor on tuning. So we'll talk about it for a minute. When they do Forever Autumn, I think that's a song that you're referring to. Da da dee da 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 dee da da. Which is the way Dustin Hoffman, jeez, right there. What's his name? Justin Hayward. I've had a long day. I have had a long day. I've been in the garden. I've been spiked. I've been bitten. I've been cleaning shit up. I've been, I've ruined the live stream. 5 minutes. My wife's laughing at me. Fucking hell. I've now forgotten what I was talking about. What was it? Oh, I'm like Joe Biden here. What? I wouldn't mind, but he's 80. Yeah. The one I was doing, it was an instrumental I did. It's on the Amygdala album, but it was taken from a show I did years ago with called Tuppence Across the Mersey. This is Lucy Lacemaker's theme. By the way, you can get all those albums. I made 10, 12 albums in my career with my little teeny band Buster, who I was with when I got those gold records. I've got more downstairs, by the way. That's only one up here. Bestseller awards down there. But I don't like to brag, so I just leave one up. Just a token, just to let everyone know that I've been around the block a few times. So yeah, that was why that's from. What else have we got? Let's just talk about 12 strings for a minute, because people have been asking. On Wednesday, I've done a little. I pre-recorded something to do with 12-string guitars, because a lot of people see me messing around playing with them. Now when I'm playing live or trying to do a tutorial with them, I mean I've just done one, I've recorded it already, Life on Mars by Bowie, which I've done on this. I detune it by 2 frets, so it's called a standard D tuning. Why do I do that? Well, I'm getting on in years and it's easier for me to hit those higher notes. My voice is quite low anyway, it always has been, so I'm alright when I'm doing Wandering Star. I ain't got a problem with that one, but when I'm doing the higher stuff, you know, it gets a bit more difficult, because your range just sort of pulls down. Now if you start to change if you change your tuning, then you can quite comfortably sing all those songs that you've always sung without having to learn learn new chord shapes or whatever, just by detuning. Now a lot of players do that anyway. You'll notice a lot of rock bands will usually take bands like Guns N' Roses, they always play 1 fret lower, you know, so E flat tuning or D sharp, whatever you want to call it. But standard D, I quite like D. Now, so 12 strings, people were saying, should I buy one? And the video I've put together on Wednesday was just demonstrated some of the songs that you really could do if you're gonna play these particular songs. 12 string is really the best instrument to play them on. You could do them on a 6 string, and you can fiddle around with a bit of chorus, you know, an effect. This thing's out of tune. I can't be bothered fiddling with it. But if you were going to play something like it's better with a 12. So it's good for that. Things like when I detuned this the other day, you've got to remember guitars, they don't like radical tuning. They try to fight. Some guitars still think they're trees, you know, so you've got to now say that's in the, I've detuned that and it sounds a little bit flappy down there, so I'm going to put the capo on a fret 2. Why fret 2? Well, that'll put it back into standard tuning, won't it? So you've always got that option of using a capo to bring it back to songs that you can sing in quite happily in standard. So let me just do this. Mind your head, Lynn. Mind, Jesus Christ. You know, stuff like that. So it's great for things like that. By the way, Mike Mike, who's one of my students from the US, he was asking me about Nights in White Satin, and I mistakenly scribbled down the chords E minor to an A, which was wrong. It sort of fitted, but I didn't actually look at the thing. I was just did it at the last minute, and it's actually. Let me just tune this in a bit better. It's actually an E minor, Mike, to a D. Nights in the white satin, never reaching the end. Letters I read on, never meaning to send. So E minor to D, so forgive the A. Right, that's enough of the 12 string for now. Beautiful instruments. As I say, on Wednesday, I'm going to be demoing more tracks and talking more about the 12 string for those people who are thinking of buying one. You know, they are. You've got to have one. I think it's, you know, I think you should definitely get one. What else have we got? Oh, Flo is on Florence. Flo is my dear friend from France, obviously, hence my accent. Florence. I had to get carried away there. What? Yeah, we got Keith. Cheers, Keith. Little donation. Have a cup of tea on where's that? Oklahoma. Hey. See, I love the sound of these places. I love it when I get stuff from all over the place. Where's this one? Red Wreck. Oh, cheers.
But
Cheers,
is there
Redneck.
last question?
Go on, what is it?
How about some Bowie heroes or rock and roll suicide?
Yeah. Time takes a cigarette, puts it in your mouth. You pull on a finger, then another finger, then your cigarette. The wall-to-wall is calling, it lingers, then you forget. Oh, you're a rock and roll suicide. There we go. A little bit of Bowie for our friend. Who was that?
Redneck.
I'm doing Life on Mars on that 12 string on next Saturday. Okay, so look out for that one. You don't hear it played on acoustic guitar. So you know, if you want to learn to play a real cool track, then that's going up next Saturday. What else have we got? You're the best at. This is my friend Flo from France. You know, how long have we known each other, Flo? About 40 years. Like Flo and Kath, another great friend of mine, in 1984 when they were studying, and they met up with us reprobates. But we had some fun.
Going back.
Yeah. Go on.
April Comes She Will was Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh, was it? I knew I'd heard of it.
Steve Ward
Oh yeah, April Comes She Will. I'll have Steve, Mr. Ward,
and Andrew and Jimmy.
and Jimmy. Thank you for that one. It's obviously an album track, isn't it?
Dennis, have you done Jim Croce's Operator or I'll Have to Say I Love You in a Song?
Oh, I did. You see, I'll have to say I love you in a song. I remember doing years ago with my dear brother Al. We did. I did a version of I'll Have to Say I Love You in a Song, and I sort of reggaeed it up. I know it's kinda late. How do you? Oh, I didn't wake you, but I have to go on wait. I hope you understand. I tell you the world just came out wrong, so I have to say I love you in a song. It's a great song. Jim Croce was brilliant. I did a lesson, an idiot-proof lesson with all the paperwork for one of his most beautiful songs, which was called "Time in a Bottle." I can't play it for you now. I've forgotten it. That's people don't realise. I put all those idiot-proof things together because my memory is not I can remember lots of different things. But if a student asks me to learn a song, I'll do it and I'll write it down for them. But if they ask me to play it again in 2 weeks, I wouldn't know what to do, so I'll have to go and refer to my notes. So that's where those idiot-proof things come from. For those people that haven't got a clue what I'm talking about, those who are just new to me blabbing and listening to this now, it's a way that I write out. I'll show you one. Have you got one? Give us what's this here? Oh yeah. So I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be putting this up in the next week or two. Something by the Beatles. Now I'm doing this one. I'll probably do it on the. I might do it on the 12 string, maybe. So why would I do it on the 12 string? Well, I've detuned it. What's the chord? Something in the way she moves attracts me like no other lover. Something in the way she woos me. Don't want to leave her now. You know I believe in how. It's a bit out of tune. I'm going to do that one. Why did I get on the subject of that? I can't remember now. Oh, idiot proof. Yeah. So, in order to be able to remember how to play that intro, which I sort of forgot, I would look at this, and this tells me what the shapes that I've just played are, and you know what I'm going to do. So, for example, I'd hit the 6th string, boom, jing, ding, 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 and then the song follows it. You can't really cock it up. Oh, and for those people that saw me playing that F and think I'm not doing that, it's got an F in it and I can't play F, he knows that. Well, I've done a simpler version like this, okay? So you can't mess that up either. All right. What else have we got?
John, what about T-Rex song, Celebrate Summer?
I don't know that one, Celebrate Summer. I was a big Boland fan until, I've always been a Boland fan, but the last album I bought of his was Tanks. I went off him. I've got to be honest. I went off him a bit after that. He got a bit too all that. You know, he all went a bit over the top for me. I liked him. I mean, I'm a big Tyrannosaurus Rex fan. You know, we listen, don't we? We listen to all his early stuff. You know, when he was with Steve Peregrine, those albums he made. Them were fantastic. And his lyrics, you know, it's pure, literally pure poetry. In fact, some of them were published. You know, Warlock of Love was a book that he put out. And the irony of it is, because he had such a strange voice, you could never really understand what he was singing, which is a shame, because his lyrics were so beautiful, you know. When they shortened the name to T-Rex, you'll notice that his diction became as clear as a bell. But she's my woman of gold, and she's not very old. She's my woman of gold, and she's not very old. It's all clear. I don't mean to be bold, but to me I'm bold. I always remember my mum laughing at me because she was listening to it, and it's when he sang the line, well, she's faster than most, and she lives on the... And she used to come up to me and go, oh, Rob, she's faster than most, and she lives on the coast. And she'd laugh in my face, you know, laughing at Mark Boland. What's this one? Yeah, I'll have a go. Just looking at the T-Rex. The other one I'm going to do, and I've already recorded it, is this. I could have loved you good like a planet. I could have changed your heart to a star. But it really doesn't matter at all. No, it really doesn't matter at all. Life's a gas. I think that's probably one of his finest songs. So I'm going to do Life's a Gas. It was the B-side of Jeepster. What's Jeepster? You're so sweet, you're so fine. I want you all and everything just to be mine, 'cause you're my baby. Yes, you're my love. Oh, girl, I'm just a Jeepster for your love. I love Boland. When he couldn't think of a chord, he just went. Sounds great. So he was wonderful, Mr. Boland, and those records, Tony Visconti was producer. I think without him, you know, he wouldn't have sounded anywhere near as good. Songs were there, but Tony Visconti, the producer, he was the sound of T-Rex, in my humble opinion. What we've got here, even Paul McCartney had to relearn his old songs if he's going to do them lyrics too. But yeah, you know. But we all have to. You see, when we do a concert, if Alan and I, my brother, Alternative Radio, whenever we do a show, we play all our own stuff. You know, or 90% of it. We'll do a couple of covers at the end for a few people. You know, if they want any, like I'm doing for you now, really. But we have to go and rehearse for a week or two just to relearn our own songs. You know, songs that we've written, because you just forget them. You know, you sort of half know them, but you don't. You know. You don't know them that well, and the key, what is it, Telegram Sam? It's like a T-Rex night in this, isn't it? See, Bolan, what he used to do, and it was very unusual. He used to put a capo, because he was limited in his ability, but he put it to great effect. He used to use a capo a lot on an electric guitar, which it's quite, it can do it, I mean, you know, but he started doing it with Rider White Swan. He clearly liked to play the chords E, A, and B7, and even B7 like that. He never played it in a traditional way, or not. You know, he used to take the A7 shape and just play it there. You know, which was limiting because it's only a 4-string version. But if you've got the bass guitar thrashing away and your drummer, you can get away with it, which is one of the reasons if I played it like that. Some of my T-Rex purists would say, "He doesn't play it like that." I said, "Well, I know, but that's the bass note to be. And we want that, otherwise it'll sound shite. So give us a break, all right?" So, what else have we got? Yeah, sorry, I'm still on this one.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so anyway, we're looking at Telegram Sam. Well, Telegram Sam came from the first song he did, first big hit he had was... which was Rider White Swan, and then he sort of went. Telegram Sam, Telegram Sam, don't know that, I'm a main man. Was it? Telegram Sam, no. He went from a minor to a major. That was a minor. My T-Rex drums. So he used to do a lot of that. So rather than play it in, you know, with a bar chord, he would stick a capo on, and it was great because it, you know, worked to great effect. When I first heard Telegram Sam, it's funny because that was the first time I thought, "Crap, that doesn't half sound like." But it sounded like Get It On, you know, because it was the same type of thing, you know. What do you think it sounded like? Get It On. Oh, again, Bolan plays that with a bend in the. I think it sounds better there, even though it's not what he does. Friends, it's fine. Friends, it's good. Everybody says it's just like rock and roll. And so on. What else have we got? We've got, now give a little bit, Supertramp. Right.
John Tierney.
John. Well, again, you've got to, I talk about this, again, if you look in on Wednesday. Is that a tune, this? I mean, Supertramp, and what a great album. What was that first one they did?
the century.
I remember seeing Supertramp. It's funny, you know, how certain things stick with you. I remember, obviously, the Bowie performance of Starman on Top of the Pops, which was a British TV show over here. From that moment on, pop music in Britain changed. Every kid in school, including me, were talking about this fella called David Bowie. You know, him and Mick Ronson. You know, and the other one was a program which was brilliant. You know, it was more for the older audience. It was called the Old Grey Whistle Test, and I remember seeing Supertramp or listening to this song called Dreamer, and it was absolutely great. And I know that the guys, some of my friends from OMD, Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, they were big, you know, Supertramp fans. And when you listen to Dreamer, dun, 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 you know, you can hear where the influences from that band, you know, hit, you know, all those synth bands, you know, so they were really influential. It's funny, the Old Grey Whistle Test. I remember I was in a recording studio once. Bob Harris, who was the he was the presenter, well, he still is, he's great, Bob Harris. But I remember we had I can't remember the name of his surname, but we were recording in a studio in London called Morgan Studios. They were owned by a drummer called Barry Morgan, who played, funnily enough, he played all the drums on the War of the Worlds album. He was a top drummer, you know, and he was Simon Phillips, who was again a top drummer. I think Barry Morgan was his mentor. Barry played on some of one of my songs, which was a big hit in Japan. It was a song called Dance With Me. He played percussion on it. It was bloody brilliant. But I always remember being in Morgan Studios and Bob Harris came in, and him and George, he'd been out with George the day before, and they'd been beaten up, you know, because they came in battered and bruised. They'd been beaten up by Sid Vicious and some of his thuggy chums. You remember Sid Vicious from the Sex Pistols, you know? So there we go, and it made all the national papers. But I remember being in the studio that day. But Bob Harris is he's still broadcasting now, and he's brilliant. I love him. I love all his stuff. I love his enthusiasm. You know. Right, what else have we got? Oh, it's Felix. Felix is my young friend who lives next door to me, me and Lynn, who recently moved in with his family, lovely family. So we're going to get him into some music. So he's watching now, is he?
Yeah.
I'll have to watch my language then. How old's Felix? He's only young, isn't he?
Yeah, he's only young.
All right. Felix, if I've said any naughty words, forgive me.
That's just
It's Lynn's fault. You know. All right. I'll have to teach Felix how to play ukulele. That's how I learned to play.
Yeah.
All right. What else have we got? I can't see that.
You're 16. You're beautiful.
You're joking. Yeah. You know what? If you were to sing, just so you know, I know it. So you think I don't know that, don't you? You come on like a dream, peaches and cream, lips like strawberry wine. You're 16, you're beautiful, and you're mine. So you didn't think I'd know that, did you? Whoever it is asked for that. Now, under normal circumstances, years ago, you'd play that quite happily. You sing that now, you'll get a knock on the door. You know, if you start singing stuff like that, you put those sort of songs in your search engine, and you'll get more than a song by Ringo Starr popping up. You know, so you've got to be careful now.
Apparently, Felix is 7 and he hears worse from his mother.
Oh, does he? Well, that's no excuse. I have to. All right, Felix. So listen, I'm glad you're enjoying it. If you know any tunes, then I'll do some for you. What else have we got? Who did that one? Cliff Richard. They're starting to take the piss now. You know? It's so funny. What? Who's this? Frank. It's not. Is it Frank? I asked us to do Cliff Richard.
No.
Thank Christ. I'd have felt obliged to try and do it.
Nobody's saying.
Thanks, Frank. You've made a nice 20. He paid $20 here. I feel like this hat. I feel like I should take it off and put it on the floor.
For tea or cup of coffee and my thanks.
Ah, you're welcome. You're more than welcome, my friends. I love doing these things. We both do, don't we? No, we do. We have a laugh. Which button should we press now? You know, I haven't got a clue what we're doing.
No.
Well, I haven't. Lynn has. What else have we got?
No, Joseph says, how about yours? Highway 39.
Oh,
It means Junction 39.
Junction 39. That's one of my songs. Yeah. I'll do it next time. I'll need my other guitar, but I will do that one.
So,
Get the album. You can get all those out. Junction 39 and the Blurred White Lines track that I just played on the ukulele. What's that?
I'm learning Roy Orbison, Pretty Woman, but the bass line is muddling me.
Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Well, Pretty Woman. Do you mean that bit? Who's asked that question?
It was professional tourists.
Right, okay. This is for professional tourists. Okay, so I think the bass line you're referring to is the doom 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 doom. Now, again, I did a tutorial called The Mother of All Riffs. Why would I do a tutorial called The Mother of All Riffs? Well, there's a riff, and my dad, again, I have to credit my father, he taught me how to play this riff when I was a little boy, and it went like this. I'll do it fast to get it, sure. Something like that. So, and the reason it is the mother of all riffs is because all those songs, like the Roy Orbison one, they're all derived from it. So now, if you look for my video, who asked me that question again? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. What?
Then you'll sit.
Professional tourists.
I actually show you how to do Pretty Woman, and as part of the thing to demonstrate why it was, why that first riff I did was so influential. It influenced that one. Pretty woman, A, walking, F sharp minor. Pretty woman, I would like to be pretty. Where's it go? I don't believe to D and all that. You can find those chords anywhere. But the riff, go and have a look at that. All the riffs that came from that thing are or even. Nearly everything Boland did. And the other things that are great, things like this, very similar things, where you can actually play the guitar with the walking bass.
Okay, so
What?
you can do the video riff, but the open strings always trip me up.
Just keep practicing it, you'll get it. You won't, You always remember, you've got to treat the guitar like a sport. It is a sport, it's physical. Knowing how you can't learn to play guitar by reading a book. It's like you can't learn to play golf by reading a book. You've got to actually start whacking a few balls, Sorry, I'm just looking at Lynn's phone because my thing doesn't work. I can't even read that. Oh, is that Daniel? Hiya, Dan. Now, can you do label with love squeeze for me?
Oh, please.
How does it go? Oh, come on, how does it go? I can't think. I know the squeeze in it. Dan, while you're on, Dan's my cousin. Dan, do you remember when Alan and I were kids, we brought a ukulele to your house when you lived in Scotland, and your dad, Uncle Dan, he made it. He used that as a template, and that was the one I learned to play on. That was the and he used he kept all of it, and he made one, if I remember rightly, but that was the instrument that I learned to play on, that one. But my Uncle Dan is great, he was the most, I think he still is the most patient. No, that's my cousin Dan.
Oh, sorry.
But my Uncle Dan is my cousin Dan's. Why would you just carry on writing, please? We know what we're talking about. But my Uncle Dan, I think he's got to be the most patient man I've ever met. we we go fishing in Anglesey, you know, in a place called Benlick Bay, which is a beautiful part of the world. And I'd always come back with a fishing line all tangled up, and he'd honestly, we'd all go to the pub, and he'd sit there for hours untangling this thing. And to this day, every time I see him, because thankfully he still wasn't, I say, Dan, have you finished untangling that bloody fishing line? Dan, I'll learn that one for next week. I know the song, it's great. It's a piano one. But unlabeled with love, she drink to your brother, so much. Come here, man. Lies of the clock and put on the shelf. The past has been bottled and labeled with love. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? That's a great song. I'll learn that for you, Dan. I'll do that one. And where is he? In Crete?
Crete.
Oh, nice to hear from you, mate. You look after yourself. Who else have we got?
Watching the Wheels, John Lennon.
It's hard, that one, because it's on a piano.
It says intro keyboard, part for guitar.
I don't know. I'll check that out. Diddle 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 ding ding ding. People think I'm crazy. It's a great song. The one I like, the best favourite song on that one, is probably the easiest one to play. Sorry, this has gone out of tune as well. It's warm where we are today. So let me just. The song, it starts with a D6. It's on the Double Fantasy album. Beautiful track. A nice easy one to learn if you're just starting off. You're going to play a chord called D6, which is like, imagine you're playing a D7 where you do just those two fingers. An E minor. Close your eyes, have no fear. The monster's gone, he's on the run, Andrew Daddy's here. See, I'd have to do it on the other guitar. It's a bit high, that one. Right, where are we? What else have we got? Oh, is Marcus on?
Yep.
Another one of my wonderful young students. How are you, Marcus? Nice to hear from you
I
there.
want you to do a lesson on times that are always changing above them.
All the times they are changing. Well, come on, wherever you, wherever you were, wherever you roam. I'm making this up by the. I'll do that one, Marcus. Marcus, next time we have a lesson, we should do that one. I don't mind doing that. What else have we got? What's that one like? Oh,
Arnie Law.
always. Oh, you're welcome, Arnie. Thank you. You know, at least we're doing something right. You got to have fun with music, you see. You can't, you know. We're not going to be here that long, are we? Let's be honest. You know. So we might as well have fun whilst being able to just be here. What else have we got?
There you go.
What's that one? Sorry, I can't see the name.
No, I can't. It's DBST, therefore you're.
DBST, therefore you're. You know.
Dollars.
Oh, thank you very much.
I've been trying to buy you a tea and biscuits. I hope this works.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm going to be full of tea. Talking of tea, And the thing is, you can't go anywhere, can you?
What's your
Because
fault?
I've got that this button business.
Oh,
What time
they
is it?
are. This is nice. They are.
Just like Leslie, it's like Billy and Leslie. This.
You know, the professional tourists say, Robert, I've played guitar for 40 plus years badly.
Yeah,
But
to
in-
speak up so we can hear you.
But in the last 2 months, you've transformed my playing and got me right back into actually playing regularly rather than once or twice a year. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. That's the thing. A lot of the playing, it's what complicates it. It's just usually some tutors, and there's some of them are great, but they overcomplicate it with jargon. You know, for those people who have been to, you know, to university or wherever, you know, a lot of the time they overcomplicate it. They try to make out, they let you all know how clever they are by using phrases and words that, you know, that you don't understand, and you don't like to ask them because it makes you feel a bit thick, doesn't it? When really, if somebody says, you know, flatten the third, what they mean is take that finger off. It's easier to just say, take that finger off or put that finger on, you know. You can always learn all the, I always liken it, I always say this to my students, look, you know, and they took this, how important is theory? Well, the theory is important to a point, and I mean that, to a point. For example, you know, I can drive my car. I learned how to drive. I needed to learn how to drive my car in order to be able to go to the shops and stuff. But I don't need to know the internal, how the internal workings of the combustion engine work. It ain't gonna get me my milk any faster. I could learn all about that, you know, but it wouldn't get me there any quicker. So I know it's a bit of a Philistine pig ignorant way of describing it, but really that's the thing. Learn how to play the guitar, okay? You know, learn the theory that you need to know. You don't need to know much. What I would always say to my students, they come along and they struggle a lot, the ones, say they're trying to learn a particular song, and they seem to forget that when you're strumming a guitar, this comes second to the vocal. You know, it's only when you're playing a classical guitar where the melody's incorporated. So you've got to know the song that you're going to sing, you know, and you have to learn to play in you know, everything in layers. When you see me performing now, whatever it is I'm doing, you're seeing lots of different layers of skill all happening at the same time, you know, just being able to hold a chord correctly, making sure that you're not doing this, you know, every time you look at your guitar when you start off, you do that, don't you, to see, well, in doing so your fingers slop all over the strings, and then you wonder why you can't get a clean sound. And because you're doing that, you're not getting any practice with this. This hand never gets a chance to do anything because you're always doing this, looking at that hand. You know, so sometimes you've got to break it up. Think of a, you know, like the person that asked about the Roy Orbison track. You can practice that drum. You know, forget about the chords. Just get the strum. Dum ticka ticka da dee dum bum. And when you've got the chords, when you've got the strum, you know, that's how you do it. You know, I mean, yeah, I'll show you this one. Can you roll off this, please? I'll leave me other guitar. Don't let me tread on it, please. What is this one? This is the one I think I was. This is the one I always say I was shot at. So if you look at the back of this here, can you see, where is it? See there? That is that definitely looks. Yeah. I'll ask my American friends. Should know the answer to this one. All right, hold on. Where is it? Where is it? Jesus Christ! Is that a bullet hole? See that there? You know, is that a bullet hole? If it is, some cowardly git tried to shoot me in the back and clearly missed. You know. Anyway, so getting back to practicing. One of the tracks that I teach a lot has a really complicated pick. In fact, I used to bet some of my friends on this, and I used to win a few quid. We'd have to say, you know, I bet they'd do the same to me. I'll bet you can't do this. I'll bet you can't do that. But one of the ones that I used to win quite a bit on is this pick, and it went like this. And what makes it tricky is these fingers, although it looks like the uniform doing this, watch. It's pretty straightforward, and the thumb would go. And you think, well, that's, but when you've got to put the two bits together, it gets. There it is. Bit out of tune. I'm never going back again. But again, if ever I was practicing that, just don't have to make a noise, don't have to wake the house up. Don't have to wake Felix up next door.
Oh, what Katie.
Or Katie.
What Katie said. Didn't realise how talented you were.
Oh, cheers, Katie.
But any travelling Wilburys?
What was the Travelling Wilburys one that we used to do? I have done Travelling Wilburys. I'm trying to think what I used to do. What was that one I went to? Oh, hang on. Was all dancing I'll sing it. Katie, you sing it. I can't do it, it's too high. It's a great song though, isn't it? I like that one. The other one I like, it wasn't a Travelling Wilburys, it was he's a good girl, loves her mama, loves horses, and a boyfriend too. Tom Petty, maybe he went too early, didn't he, old Tom? What's that?
Your bullet hole.
It does, looks like a 2-2. I thought that.
2-2.
I can't remember. I can't remember where it happened.
Pellet gun. It didn't come out the other side.
No, I don't know. I think I was doing a gig in Liverpool. I tell this story, because I've played at some of the best places in the world, the biggest places like the Budokan, headlined. I really have headlined there. The Sydney Opera House, I played there. The Festival of Sydney. All over Europe, all the main venues in Liverpool at the Philharmonic Hall. Headlining these, the Empire with our shows and everything. And I've also played at some of the biggest, the roughest places. But I've got to be honest, some of the most memorable gigs and the best gigs I've ever done have been in these little divey places. The people are great, I remember once we lost my brother, my younger brother, he'd had a few drinks. He lost the keys to the van, and this was in the middle of Kirby somewhere. I think we were playing in a watchmaker, pub called a watchmaker, And we used to play there all the time. He was great, and but it was, it was quite a rough place, unless if you didn't know the people. The people are great, and we were playing there, and we couldn't get in the van because all the, and the gear was still in the pub, and we thought, shit, we're gonna have to come back and get it. And we got the AA out, the RAC, the Automobile Association, to come out and try and get in it. And he couldn't do it. He was there for half an hour, and the pub was all the people in the pub were looking out the window. And in the end, the boss said, "Go and get Jimmy, will ya?" So somebody went off and got Jimmy, whoever it was. And this fella came back and he goes, "What is it you want, Billy?" He goes, "Get these lads in that van, will you?" And within 2 seconds, this fella got in that van. you know, with a little bit of wire, and that was it. You know, we were in. So we learnt a lot, you know. But the keys actually were found. They were in the turn-up of my brother Andrew's trousers. We could hear him rattling as he was carrying his pint. So we found him in the end. But you know, we've had some fun in some of those places. What else have we got?
A little Chaparro. How
Go
many
on.
guitars do you own, and which one is your most precious to you?
Well, I don't know. I don't, believe it or not, I don't own as many as you think. Some of the guitars I've got here are friends of mine. I've lent some of mine out, and they lend me some. This one, the 12 string, is owned by one of my lovely students called Brian, Mr. Brian Reel. He lent me that. I lent him a few guitars, and he very kindly lets me hang on to it. I got this one in the 90s. This one that I use a lot. This is the one that I've played a lot. My favourite guitar.
Which one's the most precious? It says.
Well, I've got a couple that are most precious. This is probably the most. Well, I've got two. You know, on that one. I've got this one here. This is the one. All my old Buster fans will remember this from in the old days. This has been on every record I've ever made from when I was 16, 17. You know. So this is the. My dad got us this when I joined the band when I was 16. You know. So this one is precious. My other one is where is it? This one. Oh. Les Paul. Lynn always used to hear me blabbing on about Les Pauls, and I always used to say, you know what? I've never had a Les Paul. When I've had the money, I haven't found the guitar. And Lynn bought this for me on my 60th birthday. So this one's precious to me. So you know those two, and I've got another one downstairs, a Moran guitar, which a good mate of mine, Terry Moran, he built it when I was I don't know, about 18. But probably the other one as well, which rivals it, is a guitar. It's an Ovation guitar, which was gifted to me by a good friend of mine, Dave Carruthers. He's not with us anymore, Dave, but he was fantastic. He was one of my students when I was younger. I just finished with RCA Records, and I just bought this house, and I was teaching, and I was sort of like in limbo land really. And he goes, "Why aren't you making records again?" I said, "Well, I've got this mortgage and I'm doing this." So he very kindly fronted the money for us to make a demo and make a thing. And I used to borrow his Ovation guitar, and I borrowed it for a lot. In fact, I borrowed it for that long. I've still got it. But I literally played it to death, and one day I'll get it all repaired. But I used it on all the main records that we ever did, all those alternative radio records, early ones, Valley of Evergreen, Concertina Ballerina, which is that song. If you check it out, just have a think of that title, Concertina Ballerina. It's gone nuts on TikTok. There's thousands of little videos. I don't know, the youngsters have picked up on it for some reason. I know why, because it's a really odd track. It's a weird sounding record, you know. But I used that guitar on all those songs, so that one is precious to me. And one day I'll get it playable again, you know. But so they're the three really. Right, where are we now? Do you know?
It's my life.
Oh, I don't. It's by the Animals. I don't know that one.
Okay, so do you own a resonator?
No, a resonator is the resonator guitar. Those guitars become famous for songs. For example, I can't find my plaque. That isn't the name of the song. That's just me saying it.
Two on the floor.
I know. I can't be arsed picking it up. That's it. You know when you're getting old, don't you? When if you drop £1 on the floor and you look at it and you say, "Do I really need that?" You know, songs like. That was done on a resonator. The intro to Romeo and Juliet that we were discussing earlier on, that was played on I think it was a resonator, that one. It was the metal guitar, you know. They're a funny sounding instrument, very unique sounding, you know. They sound great for certain things. Now listen, we're gonna let's have a couple more questions and then I'm gonna wrap it up. Okay, so have you got any other questions before we before we...
Um,
I can't see him, you see. I'm like this, looking into space, going... I'm like a fish. I'm like that fish. You ever seen Finding Nemo? Seen that blue fish in it? What's the name? Dory. That's what my head is getting like. You know. Yeah. Hold on a minute. Stay where. This is. Stay where you are. Hold on.
so, somebody called Dan Keck. I think he's in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that you don't blind me with speed or talk down to me. Guitar should be fun or don't do it.
Well, it should be fun. Everything should be fun.
Mm.
Everything should be fun. You know. I'm trying to find my thing here. I've got a picture of that fish and I can't find it. You know.
Scott wants to know, how do you keep your grass so green?
Well,
So.
it's not. It's full of weeds. Scott thinks it's grass. Tell Scott we had a fox in the garden this morning.
Well, you've just done it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I keep forgetting. Yeah. Look. There he is. He was in the garden this morning. Can you see him?
No.
Oh, it's all glary.
Yeah.
There he is.
There he is,
Yeah. He shat on the next to the apple tree.
yeah.
See, there he is. He looks quite sinister there, doesn't he? It's like one of those alien films, you know, and you see when you see he pops out of the thing.
Yeah, I've just got a couple more questions.
Go on.
So, Arnie Lord.
Yeah.
Rob, I play mainly acoustic, but I have a Les Paul which I can't play but would like to. I need an amp and I'm looking at old AC30 locally. What's your thoughts?
Well, an AC30, they're great amps, but they are of an era. You know, I mean, when the Beatles and everybody went, you got to seriously think about it. When they went into a shop in 1962 or whatever it was, they didn't say, "Excuse me, can I have an amp that's 60 years old, please?" They would have gone into the shop and said, "Can I have the latest amp? You've got the one with all mod cons, you know, the best thing, you know." I mean, the Beatles used to use Gretsch guitars, and they tell you because they couldn't afford Fender guitars, they couldn't afford Gibsons, so they bought Gretsch. That was all they could afford, you know. As soon as they could afford them, they moved up. It always makes me laugh when you see, you know, people now will go and say, "Oh, they'll want to buy an original 1958 Les Paul, which would be about 200 grand or something." And yet Jimmy Page, when he went to get his in 1964, he didn't say, "Excuse me, can I have a guitar that's 70 years old, please?" He went and said, "Can I have the latest one that you've got, please?" You know. So whenever you're going to buy something, which refers to the amplifier, get one. See, I've got one here. I don't know whether you can see it. It's just a little. No, it's not an AC30. It's a little cheapy one. It's called, what is it? A Valvetronics. It's probably about 150 quid or something. But it's a good little amp and I like it. I've got a couple of them. I've got one downstairs and I've got one up here. But it's got some nice effects on it, chorus and delay and all that sort of stuff. And that's really what you want. You know, if you bought a straightforward AC30, then that would be, you know, it's more like an antique. It's worth having it because it's worth having it for, you know, just to be able to talk about it. I've got an AC30. Is it a real one? Yeah. Oh, great. But you know, it's not very practical. You know. Whereas something like that is. So try and get something that's got some effects. Otherwise, you'd have to buy all the effects separately and on all that sort of stuff, and you can spend quite a bit of money. Okay, so that one there is pretty good. Valvetronics. Okay, so I like those.
There's a couple more actually. Les Clare, do you keep in touch with the old Buster members? Pete gave me my first guitar lesson at 16.
Well, I keep in touch with Kevin. Who's Kev from Buster, the bass player. Les and Pete are sadly no longer with us, which is taken far too early. But we do have their music and the fun that we had. But Kev and I, we still keep in touch. Yeah. And of course, I'm in touch with the families and all that, you know. So yeah.
John Robert, not sure if this is Brad. Is your Patreon a monthly fee or can it be prepaid for 12 months?
I think it's one. I think the Patreon thing. I think you can just pay. I think it's a monthly thing. I think it's a tenner or something, or £10 or whatever it is. But I think people can put in what they want. They can put in a bit more if they want, or they can just put something in. The idea of Patreon, you know, because I didn't really know about it, and a lot of other people do it, and it's for those that like what I do. For example, you know, watching all the lessons, and they want to contribute something towards it to say thanks, so they can join Patreon, and in a way, it's sort of like if I get enough people, then it does actually free me up to be able to do lots more work, because these things take quite a bit of time to do, and I love doing them, but I've still got to earn a living. So if people are support me on Patreon, it gives me that space in order that I can keep putting all this free stuff out, you know, which I'll always want to keep doing. I don't want to not do that. I might have to knock things down from 2 lessons to 1 at some point. I started doing 2 a week, mainly because a lot of people out there were just starting off, beginning, and they couldn't jump in straight to some of the difficult stuff. So I started off on a Wednesdays putting together 8 master classes, you know, taking people, which you can get, they're on there all, you just look for them. In fact, they're on one of my playlists. If you look at the thing, they're all there. So if you're a beginner, you look at them. And on the Wednesdays since then, I've tried to keep up Wednesday, just doing simple things. But I'm reaching a point now where I'll probably just end up doing the Saturdays, and I'll still mix it around a bit, you know. But it's all about time, you know, trying to get everything at once. But the Patreon thing does help give me that time in order to prepare a lot of this stuff.
A really important question.
Go on.
From the professional tourists again. Last question. How many tea bags do you use in a week?
Lots. Too many. I have too much coffee and all. I have that much coffee. I'm walking around like James Cagney going, you know, and your teeth start itching. So yeah. So I mean, this tea, I only had one. This is ginger tea.
Lemon and ginger with honey.
It's cold lemon and ginger, by the way, with honey. But I'd like to thank Lynn for stepping in here and getting everything working. All right, it was good.
A lot more questions and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just trying to...
Well, we might do a Patreon. We're going away for a little bit, so we might do a Patreon from another part of the world in the week. See what's
somebody
happening.
else mentioned before, I did answer them, but somebody else mentioned that they thought maybe Waterloo Sunset was on your Patreon. So I went back and said, well, no, there's no tutorials on Patreon.
Well, there's some tutorials on Patreon, but not guitar ones, mainly to do with amp settings. You know, like the gentleman just asked me about the amp. I talk about amps and play. Yeah, the Patreon thing as well, it's all about behind the scenes stuff, you know. So I've been in the studio recording a new album. So it follows me making the album from the idea to and watching me playing all the different instruments and finding out whether it's any good or not, you know. So if you're interested in recording and you're interested in how people like me actually make a living, then, you know, that might be of interest to you, because whether you're making a demo or whether you're doing something professionally, the process is very much the same.
Yeah, and somebody said, James Perry, Rob, what about doing something on guitar rig settings, etc.?
Yeah, your guitar rig. Yeah, as in, yeah. Well, that again, Patreon. I did that. I went through the amp, and you know, people ask me how do I get a sound for, like, if I'm doing Apache or anything I'm using for distortion, or Albatross, you know, Peter Green. So if that's what Patreon comes in, I would do more of that on my normal Fennah Rob channel. But people really just want to learn to play guitar on that. So the other stuff is Patreon thing. I do all the additional stuff on that. But have a look at it, and I've also put a couple of stage shows on. I put the last stage show I did, the last touring production. I put that up exclusively on Patreon. So you know, I don't just write music. I write plays. I'm involved in lots of other bits and pieces as well. So it's an insight into other things that I've done. Right now, I think it's time to love you and leave you, folks. It's late, isn't it?
10 to 11.
I'm going to have some beans on toast now. I'm going to have some beans on toast, because I've had me Rennies, so I shouldn't get too much heartburn. So I normally have cheese on toast, but I definitely would get heartburn if I had that. It's an after gig thing. It's funny that whenever we've done a gig, we always have cheese on toast or beans on toast. You know, weird, but there you go. It's a Liverpool thing. All right, folks. Lynn, would you like to say good night to the good people here?
I would have said that earlier.
Well, why don't you say hello and then goodbye? There's a
Hello.
Beatles song there. Don't hide. You know, don't be shy. Not as quiet as this when you're not here, you know, folks. Jesus Christ. Like a bloody foghorn. All right, how do I turn this off? Right, I want to love you and leave you. It's great. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Thank you for all the donations to the channel. Any questions that you've got, you're always welcome to get hold of me. You can get hold of me via my what's the email address that I've got?
Fennah Rob.
Fennah Rob. What? At Gmail. Is it? I don't even know my own name.
Oh yeah, fennahrob@gmail.com.
What's your name? I don't know. fennahrob@gmail.com. Apparently. Right, I've had enough. I'm gonna go. We're gonna start laughing at me here. They won't tune in next time. All right.
Have you told them when it is?
No, it's next month, isn't it?
Saturday.
Saturday the 5th of July. All right, Saturday the 5th of July. All right, folks. Once again. My hands are killing me. I woke up this morning. I'm like, I'm getting off the subject here. I mean, people who are as old as me, do you wake up when your hands are like this? I feel like I've just come out of a chrysalis. You know, like one of these grub things. Like, I have to do this and unpeel my fingers. I just can't move them. I've played the guitar too much. You know, I feel like I've been trampled on by a herd of elephants. You know, I'm like a lizard. You know, in the morning I'm like this, and I need sunlight to try and, you know, I'm waffling. I'll see you next time. All right, say goodbye. How do I turn this fucking thing off?
Right, see what it says.
No.
Stop.
I've got glasses on, of course I can't see it.
See the blue then. Stop.
This one here.
That one.
Stop.